everybody, and welcome to Lifestyle Living's Community Connection. This is our Business Spotlight interview, which is a space for business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals who work and serve in our community to share their stories, explain what they do, how they do it, and what makes them stand out. So my name is Morgan Merriman, realtor at RE/MAX Alliance here in Fort Collins. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I post these videos along with all sorts of things real estate related and community related. So today we have the pleasure of speaking with Laura Cascardi. She is the heart and soul behind the Equinox Center of Herbal Studies. This is a dynamic hub where people gather to explore the healing power of plants, and with a variety of offerings, including intensive study programs and a well-stocked apothecary. The center reflects Laura's commitment to making herbalism accessible and relevant to modern life. Laura's perspective promises to shed a light on the evolving landscape of herbalism and the role of such centers in fostering health, wellness, and a sense of community. So thanks again, Laura. Thanks for doing this for me here today. So let's get into it. Can you first off just describe a little bit about the journey that led to the founding of this place and your role in its evolution?
Yeah, sure. So I've been an herbalist for a long time.
Okay.
I actually got my formal training. I was originally taught by my great-grandmother.
Okay.
And then I got my formal training back around the turn of the century at a place that no longer exists, that was in Boulder, by a lovely woman named Feather Jones. I lived in the mountains for a really long time, and I act as a mountain herbalist. People would come to me seeking herbal remedies. When you live in the mountains, it's a little bit... you're stuck.
Secluded.
Secluded.
Yeah.
There we go. And what would happen was I would have to learn to think on my toes really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So people would come to me and they'd say, "Oh my gosh, I have this thing happening. Can you help me?" And I'd be like, "Herbs from my kitchen and things that are growing in the middle of winter." Yeah. Okay. And make it happen. And I did that for a number of years. And then at a certain point I was like, man, I really want more science.
Yeah.
Like, it was one thing to know and have intuition, and but I wanted a little bit more science. So I actually started going to school at CSU and got my degree in botany.
Perfect.
And I moved down because I was failing calculus, and it was
Okay.
either do this or don't. So I moved myself and my children down here, and it was kind of like the floodgates opened. It was really meant to be, I felt like. Yeah. And so what happened was, as soon as I graduated with my degree, I actually began the school Equinox Center of Herbal Studies, which is this 10-month program where I teach people how to use herbs for themselves, for their families, for their loved ones, and then I have coupled with that a advanced program and then a clinical program.
Okay, I like it. So if somebody were to follow through with all three, finishing the clinical program, about how long does that take? Is that the 10 months, or the 10 months is just the first section?
The 10 months is just the first section, right? So we don't want people to be a 10-month herbalist, right, in charge of our health. It's actually a 4-year program.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty intense, and we cover chemistry and anatomy and physiology and pathology and phytochemistry, and it's
intensive.
It's very intensive.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. And actually, before I jump to the next question, so about how many students do you have at a time?
So my max is 20.
Okay.
And I keep my classrooms. So I have a day program and a night program. The day program goes from 11 to 2:30, and then the night program is 5:30 to 8:45.
Okay.
They mimic each other, so they're on the same path, but only 10 in each program, just so I can stay really connected with each student, to make sure that we're on the same page here.
Which is super important. I went to a very smaller architecture school in San Diego to get my bachelor's, and it was about 200 students in the whole school, so smaller classrooms, and I think that's very important.
It's huge.
Having that hands-on training really helps you to fully understand what you're doing.
Well, and I can see, okay, did somebody check out? Right? Do I need to repeat myself? Do I need to check in with where their learning curve is, so that we can actually modify in the classroom to cater to the individual?
Yeah, it's smart. I like it. All right. So what unique aspects do you believe the Equinox Center offers that distinguishes it from other herbal education centers?
I don't know about other herbal education centers. There's not a ton around. There's a few herbal apothecaries around, and they're all awesome. I think one thing that's unique about this space is that we invite people to come and be a part of it. So we offer at least one free workshop a month. We have live music that is completely donation based. We have open mic nights. We do the first Friday art walk. So we're supporting like all these other aspects. And then we always offer people to come in, sit down, read from our extensive herbal library, which these are all my books from over the years.
Nice.
Some others have been donated,
For
but
sure.
come in, drink a cup of tea, ask us questions. Everybody who works here has either been through the program or is in the program. So we have a really knowledgeable staff. So we create community in the space, with my goal being making herbalism accessible to everyone. Right?
No, that's super cool. I love it. All right, so you've kind of maybe touched on some, but what are the primary goals that you have set for the Equinox Center, in upcoming years, and how do you maybe plan to achieve that?
So I have begun the process of meeting some of my past goals, which is exciting.
Nice.
So getting the advanced program and getting the clinical program going. I really would like to create a free clinic at some point where we can actually serve the community. That's something that will be down the road. Another thing I'd like to do is actually start a global herbal studies program. That's a 10-year project because I have to get to know people.
For sure.
But the last thing that I really want to do is, this might sound weird, but I do really think we need herbal apothecaries like on every corner in every neighborhood. So one of the things that I would like to do is help other people open herbal apothecaries by sharing what I've learned, the do's and don'ts about being successful in this same business. Because herbs and herbal medicine should be everywhere. There should be as many coffee shops or as many herbal apothecaries as there are coffee shops, right? Like, why isn't there one on every corner? Ordering herbs from Amazon is tricky and sketchy. You know what I mean? Like, having access to herbalists is important. So one of my longer term goals is to help other people open apothecaries, whether it's in town, whether it's on the outskirts of town, or even in other states, by sharing what I've learned.
And in any profession, that's important, is taking somebody who has as much knowledge as you do and sort of giving that to the people who want to try something else. Because opening anything, even if you have done some research and read books and you're like, I can do this, there's so many different nuances and tricky, things that people can stumble over. So getting that one-on-one expert advice on, hey, this is what I did, this is what you might want to do, but these are the problems that you're going to encounter. I mean, it's very important just to make it a more fluid process.
These are the companies that are reliable. These are the ones who truly are offering organic herbs. Absolutely.
For sure. Nice. Well, that's awesome. All right. So as a business owner and director in the field of herbal studies, what are some of the significant challenges that you face and how do you address them?
Okay, challenges. Well, I think sometimes because in our programs, one of the things that becomes huge and one of the biggest things that people leave with is a sense of community. Interpersonal relationships are amazing and challenging. And I have learned mounds and mounds about how to communicate with all sorts of different types and styles of people.
For sure.
In saying that, sometimes that's very challenging.
Yes, it can be. It can be. We have to, because I face it as well in real estate. I deal with all sorts of different clients and different personalities, and you kind of have to be a little bit of a chameleon to adapt and cater to different personality types.
In an authentic way.
Of course,
right?
Without being fake, but just knowing okay, I can be this type of more casual person with this person because they're going to respond positively to that. And this person, perhaps, an older person who's whatever, yeah, I maybe have to tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty laid back person, but I know how I can alter to still be myself and still be professional, but just cater more to who I'm dealing with.
Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
important.
Yeah.
So I totally feel you on that. And it's something that takes some finessing and working over time.
It really
right?
does. Oh gosh, have I had some trial and error with that.
So I was actually a bartender for 12 years in
Oh,
really nice high-end
yeah.
restaurants. But I feel like that gave me a baseline of training for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because same thing, you have to be sort of a chameleon and deal with different types of people.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
all right, so outside of your professional life, what are some hobbies or interests that you're passionate about?
Well, I love being outside. I don't know if this is outside of herbalism, but I love dorking out on a plant that I don't know.
Okay.
So like if I find something that I don't know, I've got like, still to this day, I've got all my books out and
Yeah.
I start looking it up and how do you use it medicinally? And I get really excited.
That's awesome. No, you have a passion for it.
Yeah, I
which is
really
good.
do. I suppose I love to hike. I love, I just love being in nature. I think a lot of Coloradoans
Do.
do.
Yep, yep. It's a
I'm
good
on-
place for it.
Yeah, I'm on par with that there. I love cooking. I have a real passion for cooking, which also isn't that different from herbalism.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? So it also goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and same. I love to cook, and this comes from 12 years in restaurants.
Sure.
Created this this different way that I view food and different way that I enjoy food. And then after being around all this amazing food, because I worked in some really nice restaurants back in Austin, Texas, and then I was like, okay, so I can take these dishes that I'm serving, that these amazing chefs are doing, and I can try to replicate it, and I can try to throw in my own little twist. And then it's doing it for over 10 years now. It's just, all right, well, what do we have in the fridge?
Yeah.
What can I whip up from
I
that?
love that.
And,
It's so much
can I
fun.
make it good, you know?
Yeah,
So,
for
yeah,
real.
I
Yeah.
love it. Cooking is definitely a passion.
Yeah, and interestingly, one of the things to kind of play off that, I love being able to say, okay, you have food limitations. How can I make this thing that I want to cook for you delicious
For sure.
with like alternative ingredients so that they nurture your whole soul?
There you go.
know?
Yeah.
And that's been a fun journey for me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so how do your personal interests or hobbies influence your approach to herbal education and your business philosophy?
Will you repeat the question?
Yes, absolutely. How do your personal interests or hobbies, because it looks like they do overlap a bit, influence your approach to herbal education and your business philosophy?
Let's think about this. Well, so I would definitely say every hobby that I have helps, is like fosters a relationship with my business. I even think like sometimes I like to play video games, and even like the concept of like moving forward with video games
Yeah,
tells you how to put one foot in front of the other
For sure.
and keep at it so you get better at it.
For
you
sure.
know, and sometimes that start button is actually really difficult, right? To get moving.
Yeah.
And something as silly as a video game teaches you that,
Yeah,
right? I know that sounds silly,
absolutely.
but
No.
and then I definitely would say everything that I'm interested in has some sort of relation to where I'm at. And I like to call this like building your palate, right? So like you go through life kind of similar to being a bartender or whatever, and you're like, why am I doing this thing? And then a few years go by and you've got this palette of all these things you've done in your life,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing and you're like, oh, I'm drawing on every single thing that I thought wasn't important before,
For
and
sure.
now I realize it's part of who I am.
For sure.
You know, and it's beautiful.
And I think, our goal in life should be finding a job, a profession, or whatever that does align with our passions outside of that, because we want to enjoy what we do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But what you said is very true. I mean, I thought that architecture was going to be my thing, and it turned out not to be. And I went into bartending and dealing with people, and I was really good at that service industry for 12 years. And then here I am selling homes, and it's almost like I've taken a little bit of each the knowledge of
Absolutely.
buildings,
Yeah.
and the how do I deal with people,
Yeah.
and also all of the things that come along with service industry, such as multitasking and organization and everything, and combined it, and it's, I think, made me a better realtor.
Absolutely.
So,
And to be able to look at a building and understand it from an architectural viewpoint is so amazing.
and be able to then reflect or explain that to then my prospective clients.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, it definitely helps. I feel you. Alrighty, so can you share a memorable experience or success story from your center that encapsulates the impact that you aim to have on your students and community?
Oh man, do we have some success stories? I think one of my favorite things is one of my students actually did open her own apothecary
Cool.
up in Cheyenne.
Okay.
And she's doing really, really well up there. The name of that place is the Hawthorn Tree.
Okay.
And so if you're ever in Cheyenne, go visit the Hawthorn Tree.
For
It's
sure.
amazing.
Okay.
And I just am so proud that like that's what happened after she went to herb school. She
Yeah.
decided to open her own herb school. That was amazing.
And you know, giving her that education and the guidance, and then seeing that she is successful in it, you know, you sort of have to go,
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, she also had her own skill set, you know,
course.
well, just like we did. But yeah, it felt really good to
For sure.
see that happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mentor new agents coming into real estate, and it is good when you know, you want them to succeed. You want to feel like you've given them the knowledge and the tools that they didn't have prior that can propel them into a level of success. And it's the same with you and your school.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Fantastic. All righty. Well, that is it for today.
Awesome.
Thank you again,
Thank you.
Laura.
That was
Thank
so
you for
much
taking
fun.
the time to doing the insights or giving us the insights into your business. So everyone, make sure to follow the Equinox Center. Keep an eye out on their updates, deals, and events. And if you're a business owner and you'd like to be interviewed on my series, please go ahead, go to the site, click on the tab that says Business Owner, and request to be interviewed. You can also reach out to me directly. All of my information will be at the end of the video, and we'll be in touch. Once again, don't forget to follow me on my social media. Subscribe to parkbenchfortcollins.com. We do have a newsletter that can go out to you every single month for that, to keep up on everything that's going on here in our community in Fort Collins and Northern Colorado as a whole. So just one last time, I am Morgan Merriman, Realtor at RE/MAX Alliance. Thanks again for watching the interview. Remember to shop local, help your community, and I'm always happy to help out you and your loved referrals with any real estate needs. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.